let's bring in Svitlana Zalishchuk, who is a foreign policy advisor to Ukraine's current Deputy Prime Minister for European integration. She's a former member of parliament in Ukraine, and she evacuated her home in Kyiv and is now somewhere near the Hungarian border. Svitlana, very good to have you with us. Thank you for joining us today. So when you hear that report that there is now a 17-mile-long Russian convoy of tanks that is 15 miles away from your home city of Kyiv, what goes through your mind?
He came to kill us. He hates our state. He hates our nation. He denies us the right to be an independent country and to make our own choice. I think that he's a Hitler of our time. He started with the persecution of his journalists, then he moved to suppression of all kinds of freedoms, then he started the international campaign. He conducted a massive cyber attack against Estonia in 2007, then we observed Georgia invasion in 2008, then was invasion in Ukraine, and then war in Syria and poisoning of Navalny. So and now he's threatening us with nuclear weapon. And I have to believe that he's really serious about that.
Well, that was my next question. Given the fact that he is frustrated by the Ukrainian resistance, which really has captivated the hearts and minds, I think, of the whole world. I think that everyone watches the incredible bravery of the people of your country and supports you. But given the fact that he has been so frustrated, what do you think he will turn to next?
It's very difficult to predict, but we know that of what he is capable of, looking at what he has done during the last 2 decades. At the same time, it has to be said that he probably thought that this war would be victorious in a couple of days, but instead, it turned out to be a humiliation for him, and international isolation, and probably loss of the authority internally and externally. For the first time, world hits back for real. And you know, I'd like to say this, that your nation is famous for the concept of an American dream, which main idea is a freedom. Freedom as a denominator of human life, and Putin is trying to deny us this freedom, and that's why the whole nation today, Ukrainian nation, is so united to fight for our home, to protect our home. Because you know, otherwise what? You have subscription with Netflix and Instagram followers and perspective of great vacation, but what is the purpose of this life? And what is our responsibility in front of our children?
So I'm curious what you think about the fact that so many nations are now sending defensive weapons, javelins, stingers, which will be able to attack these Russian tanks. Obviously, there's a huge outpouring now, but what do you think about the timing of everyone coming together?
First of all, I would like to say that my nation is really grateful to the international partners for their support, but also to people who are helping us with their personal small donations. We really feel it. It's really support that makes difference. And today, I also think that we witness unprecedented unity amongst the democratic nations because they feel that what is happening is an attack on humanness, attack on people's dignity, on people's right to live, which unites the whole world. At the same time, I think that some of the response, unfortunately, was delayed because Ukraine was asking for the lethal weapon to protect itself already for many months, and unfortunately some of the countries in the European Union denied us this weapon. We would have been much more prepared if that answer was in time. However, today we have to be strategic because we understand that Putin, in a way, he is trapped. He can't lose because if he loses, this is the beginning of his end for sure. So we have to be strategic. We have to be creative. We have to make sure that Russian people are also our allies in Russian streets, on the Russian streets. We need angry Russians to protest on Russian streets to make sure that their leader stops this war.
Yeah, I think that we're seeing that happen, that there's a separation between Putin as the leader of the country and the sentiment of many Russians. We've seen more than 6,000 protesters in Moscow who have been arrested and dragged off of the streets by the military in Russia. Svitlana, thank you so much. We wish you all the best and appreciate your speaking with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.